A history intertwined with space for distinct identities, living under the same roof for 3 centuries, however uncomfortably at times. But now some signs that many in Scotland are tilting towards a future, charting their own course. So time for Westminster to show the benefits of the Union, and time for Boris Johnson to head to Scotland with a message about how the sheer might of the UK is helping all 4 nations pull through the coronavirus crisis.
When UK ministers look at the City of Enlightenment, they see much physically and in the spirit that binds Scotland with the rest of the UK. But in their hearts, they fear that Scotland may be slipping away. And in the land of Remain, the father of Brexit is unpopular.
SNP hopes of a sustained increase in support for independence after the Brexit vote in 2016 failed to materialise, but now the polls seem to be on the move. One of Scotland's most eminent historians who supports independence sees change.
I would say the Union, as we speak today, is in its most fragile condition at any time since the invasion of Prince Charlie's army into England in 1745, because that was an attempt to break the Union as much as anything else. We're almost going into a perfect storm, because obviously the polls have been showing a marginal increase for independence, around about 54% as we speak over the last few months. But the thing about it is it's been relatively constant and hasn't been that way for some time.
UK ministers are bracing themselves for an SNP majority at Holyrood in next year's Scottish election. Q at that point calls for Westminster to grant a new referendum.
A fresh vote for another independence referendum in a newly elected Scottish Parliament would prompt a simple response from Boris Johnson: no. And one cabinet minister told me the Union will only be in peril if we agree to another referendum, adding, why hold one when you're behind?
The Tories believe the SNP should stand by its commitments to accept the result of the 2014 referendum.
The idea that you can have what the Canadians called a neverendum, where you get the answer wrong in some people's view, not in my view, of course. You get the answer wrong. Scotland rejects independence. You just keep asking the question until you get the answer right. That is an abuse of constitutional authority. That is not what referendum's for. The clear and solemn promise of the Yes campaign in 2014 was that referendum was once in a generation, if not once in a lifetime, and now is not the time to be thinking about a second independence referendum.
And Adam Tomkins believes Boris Johnson is an asset.
I think Boris will be doing in the future to Scottish nationalism what he's already done to the rather ugly variant of English nationalism that we saw with the rise of Farage and UKIP. Boris has made Farage an irrelevance in English politics, and that's tremendous. I'm delighted about that, and I think he'll turn all of his fire on Scottish nationalism now.
But Sir Tom Devine believes Boris Johnson helps the independence cause.
This is really the first time since the demise of Margaret Thatcher that there has been another UK Prime Minister who is if almost as equally disliked in Scotland. I think even, you would say that one of the differences is there's a degree of contempt for Johnson in a way there wasn't for Thatcher. Massive opposition to many of her policies, particularly the poll tax. But I think there was a respect that this was a woman of authority and capacity.
Fluttering in the wind, 3 flags outside the Scottish Parliament, attached to one, though no longer a member. How long Scotland will be bound to another will be the defining feature of political life here.